That's why it's very important on the front end when you're negotiating your international shipping that you're very specific what you're responsible for and what the other party is responsible for. And I can tell you, in the United States, it's pretty cut and dry, you know, the different fees in the ports. When you get to Honduras, you know, do you really want to be picking up those fees? Because if I'm shipping something to you to Honduras, I'm going to tell you, I don't know what they're going to throw at me. I mean, through experience, I could kind of guess, but, you know, they could throw anything at you. Okay? And that's where a lot of the hostility sometimes comes in. Because, you know, you get hit with a $50 charge and you don't think it's, you know, somebody should have told you. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to Incoterms. I'd like to talk a little piece here before we take a break about cross-border business. All right? And especially in this area, we do a lot of it. Do big business into Canada. So I'll specifically talk about this in cross-border, but it will also go in other international scenarios, and I'll show you how. When you hear the term cross-dock, and it's a huge business here in the U.S., or here in Buffalo, I mean, but you know, you have a Canadian customer, say up here in Mississauga, and they want to distribute to, you know, Walmarts all over the United States, for instance. They could have a carrier out of Mississauga and ship directly to every one of these different customers, Walmart customers. Problem is, every shipment then becomes an international shipment for that person in Mississauga. An alternative to that is they can bring one truckload down into any warehouse and clear it one time at the border and distribute it to all the different locations as a domestic shipment. What happens here at this cross-dock, there's a lot of different things that could happen. If you want, it could be relabeled, it could be broken down, it could be repackaged. There's a lot of different scenarios that you could do. This could also work in reverse. Could also work if you have your company up here in Mississauga that gets a lot of product, instead of customers, make these vendors. And instead of your vendor shipping directly to you as an international shipment, they could ship backwards to a warehouse destined here in the United States, and then collected and brought it to you as one shipment. So when you hear the term cross-dock, that's what they mean. Questions about that? Kind of in a far-stretched way, it's kind of what your U.S. mailboxes to go does. All right? Just some definitions, okay? Practice of unloading materials from an incoming truck, rail, materials directly to an outbound truck. You go northbound, you go southbound. Well, let me throw something else at you. Instead of maybe this happening, instead of Canada, maybe you're from Germany, Finland, somewhere else, and you're trying to distribute throughout the United States. Okay? I will tell you, under that scenario, Buffalo doesn't become a prime location. What becomes a better location? The coast. In this scenario, it would be the East Coast. Okay? I mean, I know a lot of our customers that come from Asia have cross docks or warehouses in Long Beach, and then we split the shipment, leave half of the shipment or parts of it in Long Beach, and then transport the rest of it to the East Coast. So they have distribute to their customers in that way. Okay? Warehousing is very important. The location, the services are very important. Okay? Again, pricing is important, but again, it's not the only thing. The location of it, your warehouse management system, your inventory, how secure is your product. All right? Give you an example. I've got a customer out of Mississauga that wants to set up a distribution center in the Netherlands. Okay, we've been working on this for 3 months. It's ready to go now. And they've said, before we make our first shipment, I would like to now go there and see it. So we're taking a trip in June to go visit the operation that they've set up. Because to them, that is important. And it should be important. Okay? They have a lot of time, money, and effort invested in this project. They want to make sure that everything that we've done and said for 3 months is really there. Okay? Okay. A bonded warehouse. A building or other structured area in which dutiable goods may be stored, manipulated, or undergo manufacturing operations without payment of duty. Okay, you need a bond, tells you all the other things. In the United States, goods may remain in a bonded warehouse up to 5 years. What does a bonded warehouse do for you? Oh, it's right there. Without payment of duty. So you can bring something in from China, put it into a bonded warehouse, and as long as it stays right there in a bonded warehouse for less than 5 years, you do not have to pay duties and taxes on it. Why would a company do that? Cash flow. Okay? If they're not going to use it right away, they might. I know of companies that over-purchase because they get a good deal from their vendor or whatever, and they're not going to use all this product for another year. So why bring it into the United States, pay duty on it, and then let it sit in a warehouse? Put it into a bonded warehouse. Or there's another term